Nicole Albano with the National Weather Service in Lincoln. Nicole, welcome. How are you this morning?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I know you're kind of surrounded by Packers fans in that office over there in Lincoln, and I know you're not much of a sports person. So, like, how much Packers talk has there been in the office here this week?
No, just about 5 minutes ago there was some talk about it. So just as of recent.
You are up to date on all things Packers. I'm sure it's just riveting to you. But no, we appreciate you making time for us as always. And Nicole, I'll tell you what. Let's just start with our kind of short term weather forecast here. I had my last guest in, and we were kind of joking around about how September, man, it feels like we have really started to make it feels like fall. Like, we get into September sometimes, and I know we had week 1 football late August. There was still that 90-degree, those heat index warnings and those sorts of things out there. But man, it really feels like we got into September, and now it feels like fall. We've had a few warmer days, but it really does feel like fall as we've gotten into September. Is that going to continue here this week and this weekend?
Yeah, it certainly does feel like fall. Yeah, temperatures will be cooler through the remainder of this week, even into this weekend. It looks like highs will be in the middle to maybe upper 70s through Sunday, with lows in the upper 40s to 50s. So it was pretty chilly this morning.
It was. It felt really nice. So what's ahead here, Nicole? What are we looking at for the rest of the week, and what does the weekend have in store for us?
Yeah, so for precip chances, we're honestly looking pretty dry. So our next chance, pretty low chance, will be it looks like maybe Saturday and Sunday, but it's only about a 20% chance of some light rainfall.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So things are dry, and I know that's been kind of the trend here so far in September. Is that it's really been very pleasant. We've had a few showers. I know we had a pop-up shower here the other day, but like I said, it's been short and it's on its way, and that's really been about it for precipitation. How about just this dry trend we're under right now, Nicole?
Yeah, like you said, not a lot in the way of precip over the last 7 days. I know you'd mentioned you had a little shower here just a couple days ago, but since last week, last Wednesday, it looks like total rain amounts in DeWitt County were anywhere from maybe a half an inch to an inch. So not much. And even looking at our normal for September, we're actually we've only gotten, and this is for Lincoln here, but we've only gotten a tenth of an inch of rain so far this month, which actually puts us behind by 1.36 inches. So we're running a deficit here so far for the month.
Yeah, and now how is that impacting? Because we had a pretty substantial amount of rain in August, and that really alleviated a lot of the drought that we were kind of worried about throughout most of the spring and into the summer. But where does that drought stand right now? What are we seeing in terms of how is this impacting soil moistures and some of those things? What are we seeing?
Sure, yeah. Like you mentioned, we were kind of playing catch up there in August. It seemed, at least the first half of the month. We had departures that were positive in August for a change. We had over almost 3.5 inches more than what we should have had in August, which was great. We're heading in the right direction, but unfortunately, kind of ended the month of August and even so far the month of September much drier. So as for drought conditions, it looks like DeWitt County is still under what we consider D0, which is just abnormally dry, but actually the drought outlook, the new issuance will be tomorrow. But it actually looks like we're probably heading back towards at least a D1 moderate drought, if not this week, maybe next week, especially with our lower rain chances. Soil temperature wise, we'll look at Springfield here. So actually, Springfield got quite a bit of rain in August as well. So soil temperatures are, it looks like near the median at 4, 8, and 20 inches. But you jump over into eastern Illinois towards Champaign, so a little bit closer to you all in DeWitt County. 4-inch soil moisture is again kind of near the median, but you look at 8 and 20 inches, and it's still pretty dry.
It's amazing the disparity from one side of the state to the other.
Mhm. Yeah, pretty crazy.
It is. It is. So, Nicole, when it comes to, we mentioned going to be somewhat of a dry trend here over the next week or so as we get into next week and finishing out September. Talk to me about temperatures, Nicole. What's the rest of September have for us in terms of the outlooks and the forecasts?
Sure, yeah. So this next week, through this weekend, we look cooler, more fall-like, but it looks like we kind of turn the page going into next week. We get a blocking pattern that develops. It looks like in the upper levels, which is going to bring some warmer temperatures back into the area. So for next week, our 6 to 10 day outlook looks like above normal temperatures. And then even beyond that, going into next weekend, it still looks like we have a pretty good chance for seeing above normal temperatures as well. And just for reference, our normal temperatures here for the middle to end of September are typically in the low 80s. We really drop off pretty quickly by the end of the month, closer to the middle 70s.
Yeah, yeah. Now you're starting to talk next weekend, Nicole, and so I know I told you this off the air, but we've got a big festival here in Clinton coming up on the 23rd and the 24th, and we've seen, and this is big. I mean it's it's 10x the population of our town in terms of people that come here. Everybody feels like almost everybody's involved, and we've got a role in some way throughout the course of the weekend for the Apple and Pork Festival. We've seen years, Nicole, where it's 100 degrees and we've got EMS all over the place tending to people overheating and heat exhaustion and those sorts of things. And then we had the last couple of years, we've had a good run of weather with, really moderate temperatures, really nice weather. So what's the forecast look like for 23, 24 of September here? What can you tell us?
Sure, yeah. So temperatures look like they should be hopefully comfortable. They might be a little bit warmer than what we're used to there for late September, but looking that far, it looks like maybe there could be some rain chances. I will say that is still 10 plus days out, and a lot can change between now and then. So fingers crossed that the weather behaves and is great for the festival, but um, we might be looking at maybe some rain chances by then.
Nicole, you're coming on here for the first time, not bringing us good news. That's not. Folks aren't going to like that too much, I don't think.
No.
I'm just kidding with you. I'm just kidding with you. You're
The
welcome back on.
messenger.
You're welcome back on anytime, and doing a great job at it while we're at it here. But Nicole, what's going on with our weather patterns and the atmosphere that's driving some of this cooler air? It's like I said, it's not been crazy hot in September. What's going on from the atmosphere perspective? What's driving just some of these moderate temperatures we've started the month with?
Sure, yeah. So I don't want to get too technical here, but we have what we call a large low pressure system, or a large trough, that's positioned over a good portion of the Midwest right now, and we have northwest flow, at least over our area. So that usually is indicative of cooler temperatures filtering in. So it's pulling those cooler temperatures from the north further south. So that's kind of the rundown of what's keeping temperatures more fall-like, a little bit cooler than normal here this week, and that's kind of what it has been, even over the last several days. But
Mm.
we start to see a pattern shift, especially going into next week. We get what we call upper ridging that builds overhead. So our flow is going to shift. We'll get warmer temperatures filtering in overhead, which will then in turn lead to warmer temperatures here at the surface.
Hmm. Perfect. Perfect, Nicole. Again, Nicole Albano is with the National Weather Service in Lincoln, our guest on the phone here for this morning. Nicole, how much of this, I know I've talked with Ed a few times about the developing El Nino going on right now. How much of this is driven by El Nino, and how much of this is just kind of a seasonal change that we're, experiencing here? What do you attribute this to?
I'm not an expert on El Nino, but it's not untypical for a pattern like this here in the fall, especially like I had mentioned, more like larger low pressure systems moving through, bringing shots of cooler temperatures. So that's not completely untypical. As for El Nino, we still are under an El Nino advisory. This just means conditions are observed and expected to continue. and there's still at least a 95% chance of El Nino for the December through February timeframe, which just means that there's above average sea surface temperatures way across the equatorial Pacific Ocean.
Gotcha. Anything else, Nicole, on whether it's the trends of September so far, what's to come as we close out the month here in the next couple of weeks? Anything we haven't touched on as far as September goes that you want to put out there for us?
No, it's just looking like, at least for the second half of the month, I know we started a little bit cooler for the first half of the month here, but it looks like we're going to be warming up a little bit, and we're continued dry, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. How is that dry going to impact the drought monitor, you think? I mean, are we below average for expected rain so far? Could we potentially see September end up pretty dry? And what does that do for the drought monitor? How about those things to wrap us up in this segment?
Sure, yeah. So it's unfortunately looking like we're probably heading back towards a drought. At least a D1 drought, which is a moderate drought is what we call it. As for precipitation, we are below normal so far for the month of September. August, we did play that catch up, but just looking at a yearly perspective, I know we really started getting dry. I believe it was at the end of May of this year, but so far this year we still have a deficit of about 1.5 inches. So we're still behind on precip, and if we're staying dry through the month of September, we're going to continue to build on that. So it's definitely looking like we're heading back towards a drought, unfortunately.
Yeah. Does September, does the September timeframe really rely on those tropical storms that hit land to kind of make their way up into the Midwest, or does rain typically kind of develop on its own at this time of the year? I mean, it's less humid and those sorts of things. Talk about the development of precipitation and how we rely on that in September.
Sure, yeah. So typically, like you mentioned, it's not quite as humid here in September because the crops are starting to dry out. But usually our precipitation in the fall months come from like frontal systems that move through. We will occasionally get some remnants from tropical systems. It looks like all the tropical activities kind of working around just the Atlantic, maybe impacting the East Coast, but we don't have any tropical systems kind of coming our way. So it's usually from frontal systems or low pressure systems that bring most of our fall rainfall.
Gotcha. Very good. Well, that outlook is looking good for the farmers as they look forward to getting in the fields. So that's I'm sure they're hearing that and thinking they might get some harvesting started here in the near future. Nicole, where do folks go to find all things weather forecasts, weather data, those outlooks? Where do folks go to find all that information?
Yeah, so if you're looking just for a forecast over the next 7 days, weather.gov/Lincoln is our website. If you're looking for climate information for outlooks for the next few weeks, the Climate Prediction Center, you can just Google that and find it. As for the drought conditions, you can go to droughtmonitor.unl.edu and find information on that. Very good.
Nicole, we'll take a time out here, come back with some more. Nicole Albano with the National Weather Service in Lincoln is my guest on the phone, and more with her coming up on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW. An item today.
Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn steady, beans lower, wheat trading higher. December corn down 3/4, 4.75 3/4. March corn down a penny, 4.90. May corn 4.98 down 3/4. November beans down 12, 13.34 January beans down 11.5, 13.50 3/4. March beans 13.60 1/4 down 10.5. December wheat 5.92 up a nickel. March wheat up a nickel, 6.19. October bean meal 3.93.70 down 4.70. October bean oil up 57 cents, 61.58. Livestock market September feeders 255.37 up a nickel. October live cattle 183.92 down 22 cents. October lean hogs 84.32 down 95 cents. Energy market at this hour. October crude oil, 88.77, down 7 cents. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Dave Jackson, owner of your Clinton Save-A-Lot store in downtown Clinton. here to talk to you about our great produce department. We take great pride in being recognized by more and more customers as the place to go for the absolute freshest produce in Central Illinois. Our 7 produce professionals are very picky and won't put it out for sale if they wouldn't buy it themselves. Huge savings and the freshest produce are waiting for you at your Clinton Save-A-Lot. Hope to see you soon.
CEO Paul Scarin here from Warner Hospital and Health Services in Clinton. Our trained physical therapists offer quality, compassionate care close to home. Find out more by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
For the latest in Central Illinois agricultural news, visit IllinoisFarmRadio.com. Get updated information on markets, weather, ag news, local interviews with NAFB farm broadcaster Jared White, and much, much more. All at IllinoisFarmRadio.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest on the phone, Nicole Albano from the National Weather Service in Lincoln. Well, Nicole, we've really touched on September, got into the deep dive of what's to come here this month, and let's get into October. And what are the outlooks for October looking like? What are they telling us?
Sure, yeah. So the Climate Prediction Center will put together 3-month outlook. So we'll look at mostly it covers September, October, November, but generally for the fall time frame. So it looks like, at least for the next few months, I know we had touched on warmer and drier conditions to close out the month of September here in the beginning of October, but then it looks like maybe trending after that. More equal chances for normal temperatures for October, and then equal chances for precipitation as well for October. And it looks like our normal temperatures at that time for October typically are in the mid 70s to start the month, but then we drop off pretty quickly, reaching the low 60s by the end of the month. Precip chances, it looks like anywhere from maybe 2 to 3 inches.
When it comes to October, what are kind of some normals in terms of like the temperature, and what do we usually get for precipitation? How do those compare?
Sure, yeah. So for October normals, it looks like by October 1st we should be sitting about in the mid 70s. We'll do a midpoint by the middle of the month, October 15th, normal temperatures in the upper 60s. And then by October 31st, it looks like upper 50s. So we've got a normal temperature of 59. For precip for the month, normal precip should be around 3.5 inches.
Very good. So, Nicole, as it relates to looking ahead here in October, anything you want to mention there?
It's looking like we should be kind of near normal for October and even getting into November. Obviously that can change. These are just outlooks, but hopefully the fall is mild for us.
Yeah. Now, when do we start to feel the effects of El Nino in our outlooks? Will that be maybe later in the winter, or what do we know about the development of El Nino and its impact?
Yeah, I believe typically the El Nino impacts, at least for us here, probably won't be seen, like you mentioned, until those winter months. And actually looking even further ahead, it looks like outlooks for December, January, February, the seasonal outlook for that time is actually showing above normal temperatures and below normal chances for precip.
Gotcha. Very good. Very good. Getting into the winter, Nicole, anything else you want to mention there? December, January, February timeframe, anything there?
Even looking ahead, like you mentioned, February, let's get that far ahead. So January, February, March also looks like maybe above normal temperatures and below normal precipitation chances. And then a little bit further ahead of that, even getting into February, March, April. This is really pushing it further.
Yeah.
It's looking like temperatures and precip are going to be near normal for us here in central Illinois.
Sure. So obviously a long ways to go before we get there, and certainly a lot can change along the way. But yeah, very good. Very good. Nicole, I know we're coming up on the fall foliage time. I don't know if the National Weather Service does much to promote, where that stands or what the outlooks have in store, but does the Weather Service do much with that?
We don't do any of the predictions. I believe Illinois, it looks like Enjoy Illinois maybe does the color maps
Okay.
here for us. So if you want to check that out, just go to enjoyillinois.com, and there's some fall color predictions on there.
Sure. I know as we talk about, potentially a dry trend here rolling through the last of September and into October, that could prompt perhaps, I know we've seen it pop up as the corn dries out and those sorts of things. We've seen some field fires the last couple of years. Just kind of talk some safety things there, what we need to be aware of as it relates to maybe weather conditions for a certain day and some of those things, Nicole.
Sure, yeah, especially, trending warmer and drier here. Going into harvest season, it's important to remember that little field fires can start up pretty easily, not just for harvesting, but if you're driving along the road, make sure you don't have any chains hanging down, flicking cigarette butts out the window. Just be aware of that, especially on windy days. If there is a fire that does develop, it can spread a lot faster.
Mm-hmm.
So just something to be aware of going into the fall, especially since we're trending drier.
Very good. Very good. Nicole, final minute with you here this morning. What did we miss today you want to put out there for us this morning?
I'm just gonna say enjoy the fall-like weather these next few days. And everybody, good luck with your harvesting.
For sure. Very good. Nicole, where do folks go to learn about all things weather forecast, weather data, all that good stuff? Where do we find it all?
If you're looking for a forecast out the next 7 days, weather.gov/Lincoln is the best place to get that. If you're looking for outlooks for the next few weeks, even months ahead, on the Climate Prediction Center, it's just CPC. It's a NOAA website. You could just Google it, Climate Prediction Center. And then if you want drought outlooks, just to see what the latest drought is, the next issuance will be tomorrow, Thursday. You could check out droughtmonitor.unl.edu for that.
Very good. Nicole, it's always good to have you on the program. Come back and do it again with us. You were great. We appreciate your time.
All right, will do.
Nicole,
for having me.
yeah, thank you. Nicole Albano with the National Weather Service in Lincoln, our guest on the phone. Network News on the way on the morning show.
WHOW.
The Big 1520 W.